talking today to Hemel Besem, who is an Afrikaans hip-hop performer and is involved in a variety of different activities. Hemel, how do we get to Afrikaans hip-hop? Where does it all start?
It's more than 2 decades old already. We at the beginning stages, a lot of people exercised and exhibited this art form specifically through Afrikaans. Not obviously recognized because of the language. The language itself, the demographic that I represent is one that does take ownership of this language as well. There's still a lot of theory and history that's against that, and so when Afrikaans hip-hop started, it was very rebellious, or the custodians of Afrikaans hip-hop, they basically expressed themselves in English, and the reason for that is obvious. They could relate to what came through the media, and it was English, and some of the people were their color. Some of the people understood some of the things that they said, and the anger and the revolutionary ethos that he represented, they felt they could relate to that and also express themselves in that way. So, albeit they did speak Afrikaans, with their immediate people in their circle, it became a language that they rather not utilize to express themselves, because hip-hop, the term hip-hop, it's a very American theme and term, but its roots is African, and the whole Cape Town scene, the Mitchell's Plain and those areas, they usurped it and understood the value of hip-hop, its basic roots.
But how do we get from the Afrikaans community, the very churchy, very conformist group of people who ran apartheid, to this very young, aggressive, quite in-your-face kind of music?
Yeah, well, it's the people. I had an awesome interview with Reddy D, some of the pioneers in hip-hop in Africa, not just Afrikaans hip-hop. And he's an Afrikaans-speaking, so-called colored, and the atmosphere, the political climate did not allow those demographic to express themselves in Afrikaans, because the immediate, I would say, ignorant people would claim that it was the language of the oppressor. I mean, I myself have been on stages where I got booed because I rapped in Afrikaans, but a lot of that has changed. But at the beginning, it was a language that we spoke, but it wasn't pure. Like in Afrikaans, tomorrow I'll be speaking at the Department of Education in terms of why hip-hop is necessary in Afrikaans, and especially creative writing. And one of the things is the purist has a specific outline as to what Afrikaans is.
Yes.
Where we have this idea that Afrikaans is still growing.
Yeah.
And we should allow it to grow.
Yes.
And hence, we have so many other terms that we utilize within our language, but it's not accepted. So what happened is, when those dudes started out rapping in the beginning, they mixed the languages. There was blacks that formed part of prophets of the city. There were Muslim, different religious groups, all of these things. And language was not the thing. It was for them to articulate what they wanted to say. It was revolutionary. It had a political edge. And then from there, hip-hop grew to something more intellectual. We are sitting where if I rhyme, people are listening closely for the punchline. And you have areas now in Cape Town, for instance, where if you don't come with a good punchline, you get booed off the stage. And that means they are really analytical about the Afrikaans that come through. But they take ownership of this Afrikaans. It's not somebody's language. It's Afrikaans that we speak. It's not somebody of this race or that race. We take ownership. But it's still difficult for the purists to accept that fact. But then you get the Zef type of movement, which is the Antwoord and Jack Parow and them. All of them come from these colored communities.
Yes.
I know Jack, for instance. He was Mace's Bars before he was Jack Perro.
Yeah.
And he used to cipher with us.
Yeah.
That's what. Hence, he uses the term, those type of terminologies and slang. And the same with Ninja, for instance. The Antwoord. They still come back to Mitchell's Plain and do their things there.
Yeah.
In a sense. So
where did people meet for this?
Well, different places. The main spot, obviously, back in the day was the base.
Yeah.
The base, but it wasn't just a hip hop spot. As far as my understanding goes, it was all the rebel music.
Yes.
It was not on radio.
So what sort of things were people listening to?
R&B.
Yeah.
Funk.
Yeah.
Punk.
Yeah.
Soul. All these type of music, which is rebellious, and especially if the artist was obviously black or colored or whatever you want to call it. And those were the people that they played there. So people came up to actually listen to new music, and the DJs dared to play this stuff. Whatever they got from somehow where they leaked, they played it. So people actually came for the music, but there was a big segment that eventually took over the bass, which was hip hop.
Yes.
You understand, where dancers came and they could express themselves. And they.
So what sort of hip hop artists were people looking towards at that stage?
At that stage, the main commercial name was POC.
Yes.
It was Prophets of the City.
Yes.
And as I said, it grew out of anger. Those were the days of District 6 and all these places. So all the content was one that had a political edge in it.
Yeah.
A thread that spoke to people, but not only to our people.
Yes.
It was a voice that cried out to the rest of the world to hear. So that was the edge. That's why in the whole Africa context, POC was the group that started hip hop.
Yes.
That was the fire that started not not in Joburg, not in Nigeria or wherever. It started in Mitchell's Plain.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So that's why there's a lot of kind of like, not animosity, but there's a lot of like frowns as to where hip hop is today in terms of even now with Jack Perro, Cape Town, the Antwoord, Cape Town.
Yes.
But whenever hip hop events is there and people put money in it, it goes Joburg. You understand? So you kind of have that. Oh, come on, that type of feel. Most people that I know recognize Cape Town as the hub for the culture of hip hop.
Yes.
Now you need to understand there's a difference between the culture and the genre, the commercial part of hip hop. So for us, like tonight, it's the Hip-Hop Indaba.
Yeah.
It's a major event. People come from all over South Africa to battle.
Yes.
And there's Afrikaans, there's all these people have a story, that motivated to come there. There's one dude that come from PE now who lost his brother, and he's kind of bring that anger to the stage, Somebody has something else, and it's been there now. It's the 12th year that is, for instance, running. It's culture, man. Here you must speak what you say. You must live what you speak. I always say that you must live loud.
Yes.
That's how it is in this culture. If I meet you now and you say you're an MC, I'm a rapper, then they're like, well, let me hear something, we're testing each other.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we've lost out on the business sense, the commas, the genre.